Welcome to the new section of this course. So in this section, we are only going to focus on the authentication, okay? So authentication is one of the most important part of any application. Authentication means that we are going to provide security to our applications. We are going to hide our resources and pages from unauthorized user, okay? So this is the main purpose of authentication, that we will provide security to our applications. And in this section, we are going to learn about the passport.js, which is one of the most popular module or one of the most popular package that help us to apply the authentication. So this is the project that we are going to build at the end of this section, okay? So with the help of this project, you will have a better understanding of how authentication works. For example, this is the application that simple has login sign up functionality. You can see that authentication project. I am currently on localhost 3000/login. I have to enter email and password to log in into my application, but I don't have any account yet, so I simply click on sign up and enter my name here. For example, I type here Ghulam Abbas and enter this email address and then the password. For example, I type here GHULAM, okay? And when I click on register from here, and you can see that an error here, a user with the given username is already registered, okay? So we can only register one user with that email address, okay? So for that, I simply go to my Mongo and I simply use the users and type here db.users.drop all the data in that, okay? And now if I click on the sign up and enter data again with this email address and type here password GHULAM, if I click on register from here, you can see that account created successfully, okay? So let's log in our application. I first of all type my email, then the password, which is Ghulam. If I click on login from here, you can see that now I am currently on my dashboard, okay? Now I have my name here, my logout button here, my change password here. If I want to change password, I click on this change password button and type here my password, for example, GHULAM1. If I type here GHULAM12, now password is not same. If I click on change password, you can see that password don't match, type again, okay? I just type password again, GHULAM1, GHULAM1. Now if I click on change password, you can see a message password changed successfully, okay? So this is my name, this is the change password functionality, and this is the logout. If I click on the logout button, now if I again go to /dashboard from here, /dashboard, you will see an error here. Please log in first to access this page. If I go to /password/change, again you're going to get that please log in first to access this page. Those pages are secured and only logged in user can access that. So simply I log in again with the new password. If I enter my old password here, that is GHULAM, and click on login, you will see invalid email or password, try again. Now I have to enter my new password. So I simply type email and the password, which is GHULAM1, and when I click on login, and now I can access all the pages, okay? So this is the basic project that we're going to build. Now if I click on logout, I have also one more functionality, that is forgot password, okay? So if the user forgot password, then you can simply click on that forgot password button. Then you have to enter your email address. For example, this is the email address. If someone add here wrong email address that doesn't exist, for example, this email does not exist in our database. So when I click on send email, you will see user does not exist with this email, okay? So I simply add my correct email and click on send email. And you will see a message here, email sent with further instructions. Please check that, okay? So if I go to my email address, you can see that this is the email address that we have used. And here I have got my email. You can see that it is sent from Ghulam Abbas and the subject is that recovery email from the auth project. If I click on that, you can see that this is sent from this user Ghulam Abbas and then this email address to this one, which is my email address, okay? And you can see the body. Please click the following link to recover your password. This is a link we have generated, and if you did not request this, please ignore this email. Now if I click on this, you can see that I am redirected to this page. I have a new form here that says new password. I have to enter my new password here. For example, I type here 123456, and here I type 123456 Now if I click on change password, you can see that password don't match, okay? So I click again and I type here 123456 and 123456. If I click on change password, you can see a message, your password has been changed successfully. Now if I log in with my previous password, that is GHULAM1, if I click on login, you will see invalid email or password, try again. And now if I click on here and log in with my new password, that is 123456, click on login, and that's it. We are again logged in into our application. Okay, so if I just go to my Mongoose and I just type here a query that db.users.findAll. So this is db.users. If I press enter, you can see that if I use .pretty method to make it clear, now you can see that we have an ID of that object, of that user, the name, which is this one, and email, which is this one, and you can see that there are two more objects that are salt and hash. So this is our password. Passport automatically converts our password into this giant string and save that in our database, that if someone access our database, then he will not be able to see that passwords. Okay, so it is hashed or encrypted password in our database, and password will manage all that for us. Okay, if I go back to my Gmail account, you can see a new email here from Ghulam Abbas. You can say that, hello Ghulam Abbas, this is the confirmation that the password of your account, this email has been changed. Okay, so this is the confirmation email to say that your password is changed. So I hope that you will like that project, and we are going to build that project in our some next videos. So I will see you then. Okay, so welcome back to this course. So in some next videos, we are going to build a project that is the authentication project that will purely focus on the authentication part. Okay, so for this project, we are going to use a package that is called passport.js. You can see that passport is authentication middleware for Node.js. So we can apply the authentication by our own by using some other packages like bcrypt that will encrypt our password and hash that password and save it in our database. But passport is the best package for us because password will automatically convert that password into hash, and also password also help us to maintain a session for that user which is logged in user. Okay, so this is a package that we're going to use in our next videos. And authentication is one of the most important part of any application. The main purpose of authentication is that we want to protect some resources, we want to protect some pages from unauthorized user, from the user that is not registered. Okay, so the purpose of this application is to learn that how we can register a user, how user can log in, how we can set up the forgot password, how we can set up the change password, all those functionalities that are related to authentication. Okay, so I hope that you will like that, and if you feel any problem understanding anything about that, you can definitely ask me a question. I am always there to help you. So that's it for this video. I will see you in the next video in which we start building our authentication project. Okay, so welcome back to this course. So before getting into the project or learning about authentication, I want to tell you that we can implement authentication in many ways. For example, for this course, we are going to use passport npm package that will help us to apply authentication. But we can also write our own authentication code. We can write our own code that will encrypt the password, hash that password, and save in database, and then we can use further on. But passport do all that stuff for us, so that's why I'm going to use passport in this section. Okay, so now let's start building our project, then you will have a better idea that how we are going to build this project. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to create a new folder in lecture files. I will type here make dir with the name auth app, and in this folder, first of all, I'm going to create a new file with the name app.js. And before writing anything, I want to install all the packages that we are required in this project. Okay, so first of all, I simply type here npm init, and when I type here -y, this means it automatically create the package.json file without hitting enter a couple of times. Okay, so when I press enter here, you can see that all the package.json file is successfully created. Okay, so we have created the package.json file in lecture folders. So I simply go to cd auth app, and then I type here npm init -y, and then after I type here npm I, first of all express, then I want to install path, then body parser, and then I will install .env, then connect flash, then I will install Mongoose, then I will install Express session, and after that I will install passport and passport local. I will explain each everything when we will start using these packages, okay? And after that I type here node mailer to send our emails, and then after that I'm going to use here a sync package, and then also I have to use here crypto. And I think we are good to go. I type here -- save and press enter. Okay, so our packages are installed successfully in our folder. So first of all I type here const express equals to required. First of all I require the express here, so I type here express, and then after I type here const app equals to express, and as usual const path equals to require path, and after that I have to require the body parser, so I simply require that also, body parser, and after that I have to import const .env, so I type here require, and after that I want to import Mongoose. I simply type here Mongoose, and also I have to import the flash because we want to show the flash messages, so I type here connect flash, and after that I also import the session express session. We also have to use this session for our authentication, so that's why I type here require. It is both, we use it both in flash, connect flash, and also we use it for authentication to maintain our session of that user, okay? So I type here express session, and okay, so we have imported about all the packages. First of all we have to set here .env.config because we don't want to display our crucial information like passwords in this file, so that's why we use .env config.env file to display all, to save all that data. So I type here path should be like ./config, and type here .env, and after that I have to type here mongoose .connect, and the URL will be process.env.database local, and after that we have to pass some parameters here. So I type here use new URL parser to true, then use unified topology, and I type here true, and after that I type here use create index, and also I type here true, like that. Okay, so MongoDB is connected. Now we have to use a middleware for session. Okay, so whenever we use the authentication, we always have to maintain session for that user so that we can allow the user to access the pages that a logged in user can access. So for that we have to maintain a session. So I simply type here app.use. We also have used this session in our previous project when we built our database project for Connect Flash. Okay, so in this project this session is also helpful for authentication as well as for Connect Flash. Okay, so I type here session, and I simply type here secret first of all, You can type anything here. For example, I type here just a simple login / sign up application, like that. And after that I have to type here resave to true. Also I have to type here save uninitialized to true. Okay, so now let's set up the middleware for our flash messages. So I type here middleware for flash messages, and after that I simply type here app.use flash. Okay, and also I have to set up the global variables. So I simply type here app.use, and I simply type here request response next, and then I simply type here res dot locals dot success message will be equal to request dot flash and the success message. And just copy and paste it and just type here error, and also I type here error. Okay, and then I have to type here the next method, like that, to move it on. Okay, so I type here setting globally like that. Okay, and after that we have to also set up the body parser. So I type here app.use, I set here body parser dot URL encoded. As usual I type here extended to true, and after that I simply type here app.set the views directory. So I type here views and path dot join, and I type here the directory name as well as the views, like that. Okay, and after that we have to set up the view engine. So I type here app dot set the view engine to EJS, and after that we have to listen a port. So I type here app dot listen to process dot env dot port, which we don't have specified yet. And after that I type here simple line console dot log, and I type here server is started, like that. Okay, and we have done a lot of work here. So first of all, let's create config.env file. So I type here new file config.env, and first of all I type here port, which should be 3000, and database local should be like MongoDB, localhost port will be 27017 /users, like that. Okay, so save that, and so we have also forgot to install the EJS package. So first of all, let's install that. So I simply type here npm ejs -- save. Okay, so package is installed successfully, which is EJS. So in our next video we are going to set up our views directory, and then we will set up all our routes. Okay, so like our previous project, I have my HTML files ready to use. So these are simple HTML that uses HTML, CSS, Bootstrap. You can design your forms or design according to your requirement. So I will see you in the next video. Okay, so welcome back. So in this video we are going to set up our views directory, and we will add some EJS files in that. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to create a new folder in this auth app, and I simply click on that and type here like views. And in this views directory, first of all, I'm going to create a new file with the name login.ejs. Okay, and before that I will set up my partials, so I simply create a new folder with the name partials, and in this, first of all, I'm going to create a new file with the name header.ejs, and one more, which is the footer.ejs. Okay, so I will set my header and footer first. So I go to my Sublime text, and in here I have this dashboard with the nav bar. Simply cut that from here, Control X, and go back, paste it here. And the first thing I do here is I also have to copy it from here and paste it here for change password. Okay, and then after that I have to change the title here to Authentication project. Copy that from here and as I paste it here. So this is our EJS file, header.ejs, and in footer.ejs I simply go back and grab these two lines, Control X from here, and I paste that right here. Okay, so this is our header and footer. So first of all, I type here including the header and the footer partials. So I type here include, and I type here partials slash header. Copy that again, and same for the footer. Okay, simply save that, and now if I just go back to my Sublime for my login, I'm simply going to grab these from here till here, Control X from here, and I simply go back to my Visual Studio and paste it right here. Okay, it's just a simple HTML with some bootstrap. Okay, so don't get confused with that. Okay, just sending a post request to /login. Okay, so this is our login form. Then we have to create another EJS file for the sign up, or the sign up.ejs, and in here first of all I have to add the partials. So add the header, then the footer one, then I have to go back to my Sublime and grab my markup for registration. So I cut that from here and paste in here. Okay, and click on the format document, simple form that sends post request to /sign up. Okay, and then I have to also set up my dashboard.ejs. Okay, so I simply create a new, I have created the sign up in partials, so I simply cut that from here and paste it in the partials or views. Okay, so after that I simply create a new file in views directory with the name dashboard.ejs. Okay, and in here first of all I just add my partials, header and footer, and then I just want to display a h1 message here that says dashboard, simple, and give it a class text center, and also I add a container to that. So I simply copy this line from here, Control C, paste it here, and just like that. Okay, so login.ejs is ready, signup.ejs is ready, and dashboard.ejs is also ready. Okay, so just close all these from here. Now I have to create my routes folder. So I simply create here a new folder with the name routes, In the routes, I'm going to create a new file with the name users.js. So first of all, I type here const express equals to require express, and then after that I have to type here the router. So router equals to express dot router method, and then I have to type here router dot get slash login request response, and I simply type here res dot render the login like that, and I simply copy it from here, paste it here and change here sign up, and also I change here sign up, and after that I have to type here for dashboard. So I simply type here dashboard and dashboard, save that. Okay, so also I have to import this router here in this app.js file. So for that I type here comment requiring user route, and I type here const user routes equals to require, and I type here the path, it is dot slash routes slash users like that, and also I have to write at the end here app dot use these routes. Okay, simply I save that. Now let's check it out that how it's worked. Okay, so I simply type here nodemon, because we have installed nodemon globally, so that's why we can use that anywhere from any part of this computer. Okay, so I simply type here nodemon and press enter. Okay, so there is some error here, so it says app.use requires a middleware. 44, so 44. Okay, so const user routes require dot slash routes, so routes slash users. Okay, just a silly mistake, we just have to export that router from there. So I simply type here module dot exports router. Simply I save that, and now server is started. So I go to my browser and I type here local host port 3000 slash login, and you can see here, oops, we forgot to attach our bootstrap library. So I simply go back and I'm going to create a new folder here with the name public public, and in this folder I'm simply going to create a new folder with the name libs, and in this libs I'm going to create a new file with the name, or I simply copy that file in this folder. Okay, so I simply paste that file right here. Okay, so I go back and type here one more line. So I simply type here app.use the express.static and the public directory. Okay, you can also place the URL instead of file, that's totally depend upon you. Okay, so I simply save that, and now if I go back and reload that, and here we go, this is our login page. This is the title, username will display here, the change password option and the logout option. Okay, so if I go to the sign up, I have to add a link here for sign up. So I simply go back to my login.ejs and I just add a link here to slash sign up. Simply save that, and in sign up I have to add a link to login. Back to login, where I type here slash login. Okay, so simply save that and go back, reload that. Now if I click on sign up, you can see this sign up form here with these 3 fields. Now if I go click on back to login, I move back to my login page. Okay, so we have just set up the login and sign up, and also we have set up the dashboard. If I go to the dashboard like that, we have to set up this here. Okay, so now in our next video we are going to set up the schema for our user, and then we have to make this form happen, which is registration. We set up this form, we say our name, email, and encoded or encrypted password in the database. Okay, and then we will move toward our login system. Okay, so I will see you in the next video. Okay, so welcome back. So in our previous video we have set up our routes here, that is login, sign up, and dashboard, and now we have to set up this registration form. We have to save this form to our database, and we have to make sure that our password should be encrypted. Don't have to save our password in plain string. We have to encode, or we have to create a hash for that password, and then we have to save that secured password in our database. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. First of all, I go back to my Visual Studio Code, and first of all I am going to close. Also simply I type here margin top 2. I forgot to do that. Simply save that, and I am simply going to close this also, and here I have to type here my of 2 like that. Save that. Okay, so I simply close it, and now I have to create a model for user. First of all, we know that whenever we want to save data in database, we have to create a model. Okay, so I simply create a new folder here in auth app with the name model or models. Okay, and in this folder I'm going to create a new file with the name user model.js. First of all, I type here const mongoose equals to required mongoose, and then after that I have to type here let user schema equals to new mongoose dot schema, and in here first of all I have the name, which is string, then the email, which is also string, and then we have the password, and in here I'm not going to, first of all I type here an object, and I type in here I type type with a string, and then we also have to add one more property here, that is select, and we say that false. What does this mean? Okay, so what happened is we don't want to show this password in output, or we don't want to show this password to anyone that console.log or that want to access that. Okay, so we simply type a property that says select is equal to false, that whenever we want to output this user or object, we don't have to show the password. Okay, so that's why I type here select to false. Okay, so this is our simple user schema that has name, email, and password. Okay, so after that I have to simply export that. So I type here module dot exports mongoose dot model, the model that user with schema, and I type here user schema. Okay, I simply save that and go back to my users.js. In here I'm going to create a new route. I simply type here get routes, and here I type post routes. So I type here router dot post to slash sign up, and then a callback request response, and in here first of all we have to get username, email, and password. So I simply type here let. So what I am going to do here is I'm simply going to type here request.body. Okay, so what does this mean? We know that whenever we want to get our data from the form, we use request.body. So request.body is common for name, email, and password. So we'll simply type here request.body. Then these things that are same are name, email, and password. Okay, so in this way we fetch all these things in one line like that. Okay, now after that I type here let user data equals to name, should be name, and then email should be email. So this name is this one and this email is this one. Now we don't have to type the password here because we have to encode or we have to hash that password so that we cannot pass that directly here. Okay, so this is our object that we have to pass in the database to create a user. Okay, now we know that we are applying the authentication. We have to make sure that our password is secure and is hashed. Okay, so for that purpose we have to use the passport package here. So a password help us to do that encryption. Okay, we can do encryption by our own by using the bcrypt.js package that help us to basically encrypt our password, make a hash for that. But as we are using the passport, so we don't have to do that. We can use that with the help of the passport. So before that I have to write some piece of code here to make that happen. Okay, so first of all in this file I have to import a package called passport. So const passport that we have installed in our first video. So we are going to require the passport in here. Okay, and also we have to set up some middlewares for this in our app.js. So first of all I have to type here const passport equals to require passport. Okay, then we have to also import passport local. So type here const passport, or I simply type here local strategy. Local strategy equals to require, and I type here passport local dot strategy like that. Okay, so we have just import the passport package here. And what does this line means? The local strategy. So basically in passport package we have a lot of strategies. Like this is the passport local. That means that we want to use the authentication, or we want to apply the authentication through database. We have to save our data in database, then we have to retrieve that data from the database. That is called the local strategy. But passport have other strategies also, like Facebook strategy, Twitter strategy, Google strategy. So as we are using the local strategy, so I simply use this package that is called passport local. If we want to use passport Facebook or the Facebook strategy, then we have to type here passport Facebook and we have to install that package. Okay, so this line means that we want to use local strategy. We want to save our user data in database, then we have to authenticate our user through the database. Okay, so now we have imported our two packages, that is passport and local strategy, which is the passport local. Then we have to write some middlewares here. So make sure that you write those middlewares after this session. Okay, so what does this session means? Whenever our user is logged in into our application, then we have to maintain a session. Okay, so for that we have to use this express session. Make sure that you write the passport middlewares after this session. Okay, so I simply type here, first of all I have to use passport, so I type here app.use passport dot initialize, that initialize this, and after that we have to type here app.use, we type here passport.session. We have to maintain a session for that user, so we simply type here passport.session, and after that we have to use the local strategy for that. So I simply type here passport.use, we have to use local strategy, so I simply type here new local strategy, and I simply type here user dot authenticate like that. Okay, so what does this mean basically? So we have set up here that passport will use the local strategy and in that we have pass user.authenticate. Now this authenticate method is the part of passport. Okay, we can write our own code of authentication here, and I have told you before that we can use bcrypt, a library, or bcrypt package to write our authentication, but passport also provide us that feature, so we don't have to write that again. Okay, so this user means that the model here, so we have to simply type here I simply type here comment requiring user model. So I simply type here const user equals to require, and I type here dot slash models slash the user model. Okay, and after that if I scroll down, we have used local strategy, and also we have to use two more lines, that is passport dot serialize user and user dot serialize user, and also we have to type here passport dot deserialize user, user dot deserialize user. Okay, so what does this means by these two lines, serialize and deserialize? As I have told you before, that passport maintain a session for that user that is currently logged in our application. Okay, so these two lines will help us to maintain that session. These two lines will decide that when we have to serialize the user and when we have to deserialize the user. Means when we have to allow the user to access the dashboard based on that session, or we have to deserialize, or we have to don't allow the user to access our application if the session is not maintained or there's no cookies there. So for that we have tried these two lines here to basically serialize and deserialize user based on its session. Okay, so these are the 5 lines that help us to basically use the passport or its all features in our application. Okay, so one more thing that I have to do here is I have to go back to my users model.js, and as we are saving data in the database, we have to use one more package here that is called const passport local mongoose, because we want to store our data in mongoose. So for that we have to use another package that is called passport local mongoose. So I simply require that here, require passport local mongoose, like that. Okay, so we also have to connect our schema with that passport local mongoose. So for that we simply use a method called user schema dot plugin. We are going to plug in the passport local mongoose with that. Okay, so that's it. We have simply set up our passport settings. Okay, so let's quickly install the passport local mongoose package. So I simply press Ctrl C here and type here npm I passport local mongoose -- save. It stuck there, so I simply press Ctrl C and just write it once again, and I type here nodemon again, like that. So now if I simply save that and simply also I go here and type my remaining code here. So now I have to add data in the database of this user. So I simply use method here that is user dot register, that will, sorry, here is user. I think so we have not yet imported user in here. Okay, so we simply type here we have to import that user. So I simply Ctrl C from here and paste it right here, like that. Okay, and at the bottom I simply type here user dot register, and we have to register this user data. Now we also have to type the password. As I have told you before that we don't have to type the password here, as we are using the passport package. We have to type the password in a separate parameter. After typing the user data, we have to type here comma, and then we type here the password that I want to pass in the database. Okay, so in this way the password will automatically hash that password and make it secure. Okay, and after that I have to pass a callback here that contains error and user if it is created. Then first of all I check error here. If error, then I have to flash a message here that would say error message, and I type here error, and I concatenate here my error like that. Okay, and I simply redirect to /signup if there is some error. Otherwise we have to use here passport dot authenticate local, and after that you have to type here request response and if arrow function in which you will type here request dot flash success message, and I will say account created successfully. Okay, like that, and I simply also have to redirect back to /login like that. Okay, so simply we have registered the user by using the registered method, then we have passed the user data in here, then as the second parameter we have passed the password. Password will automatically encrypt this password and save in the database. Okay, so now if I just see here, it says can't find ./models. Okay, so we have to type here ./models. If I save that, and it's okay now. Okay, so now we have set our user model by using the passport local mongoose. We have set up our sign up route here, which is the post route, and in the app.js we also set up our passport settings, and now we have set up this flash. So I simply go to my views directory, where it is, this one. In partials I'm going to get a new file with the name messages.ejs. okay, so I'm going to copy the code from my previous project to save some time, and I simply paste that here. Okay, so we have also written this code in our previous project. Okay, simply save that, and now I have to use it in my partials, EJS files. So I go to login, and I just at the top copy it from here, and I simply paste it right here and change it to messages. Simply copy that, Control C, save it, go to the sign up, paste that here, go to dashboard, and also I paste that right here like that. Okay, and after that I simply close these. Now I hope that it will work fine for us. So I simply save that and go back to my Google Chrome and reload it. Now let's register a user. For example, I type here my name and some dummy password like ram@gmail.com, and the password should be the password itself. If I click on register, okay, so you can see the error here, error missing username error, no username was given. What does this mean? Now whenever we have to use the passport, we always have to specify our user in our form. For example, whenever we log in, the passport will check the username and the password. Now username may be name of that person, or maybe it's email. Okay, so we have to specify that username. So to do that, I have to simply go to my, first of all, user model, and I have to type here object in which I pass here username field should be the email, like that. Okay, and also we have to set up our in our app.js right here. So I pass our object here, and I type here username field should be the email, like that. Okay, so I simply save that, and now if I go back to my browser and reload it, now enter the information once again. I type here password. Now if I click on register from here, you can see that account created successfully. Okay, so if I go to my Mongoose, I type here Mongoose, I simply type here users, and I type here db.users.findAll, like that. Okay, so you can see that here is our object. Okay, so if I simply type here .pretty to make it clear to you, like this. Okay, so this is our object that we have created. First of all, the ID is automatically generated by MongoDB, then our name, which is this one, then our email, and you can see that there is no field password here. There are two fields that are salt and hash. So this is our password. You can see that this is our password. Okay, so what does password do is password package has just converted our password into this giant string that is called hash. Okay, and also generated a salt for us here. Okay, so what does this do is whenever we again log in our application, the password will automatically match that password hash with this hash, so that it is secured and no one can get access to our original password. Okay, so this is the benefit of using the password package, that we don't have to write a piece of code for this hash. Password will automatically do this for us. Okay, so we can see that this is our giant password that is converted into a hash. So this is a secure password. So this is a giant string that is your password. Okay, so in this way password store objects in the MongoDB when we use that. Okay, so in our next video we are going to log in into our dashboard by using this password or this user. Okay, so I will see you in the next video. Okay, so welcome back. So in this video we are going to log in into our application by using the passport. Okay, so without wasting our time, let's do it. First of all, I scroll down here, and just after this post route sign up, I just type here router.post. We have to send a post request for login to /login, and after that we have to pass here not a callback, we have to pass here the authentication for passport. So I simply type here passport.authenticate, and we have to authenticate it locally. So I simply type here local, because we want to authenticate our user from our database. Okay, and after that I have to type here an object that has 3 parameters. First of all, we have to type here success redirect, means that if the login is successful, then we have to redirect to /dashboard. Okay, and if it is failed, then I type here failure redirect to /login. And also we have to display a flash message if the login is failed. So I simply type here failure flash should be invalid email or password, and I simply type here try again, like that. Okay, so what happens is when we send a post request to /login, then the password will automatically authenticate the user locally. Okay, and after that, if the authentication is successful, then we are redirected toward the /dashboard, and if the authentication is failed, then we are redirected towards /login again with the message that says invalid email or password, try again. Okay, so this message will not work right now. We have to write a separate piece of code for that. So I simply go back to my app.js, And in here, in our global variables, we also have to set up one more thing here. Control C from here, and I just paste it here and just type here res.locals.error and then this error. So this is the way basically this line works. We have to pass a separate variable here that must be error like this. Okay, so I simply save that and go back to my partials messages, and I simply going to copy it from here, Control C that and Control V here, and then I simply remove this piece of code. If error that we have set up, and if this error, and make sure that the error is not null, then we have to display a danger here that will display that error like this. Okay, so I simply save that and close it, and now I hope that it will work. So I simply save it and go back to my application in the Chrome browser and reload that. So now I simply type here my email, which is this one, then the password, which is password itself. So I simply type here password and I click on login, and you can see that I am redirected toward my dashboard. Okay, so simply save this right here. Okay, so if I enter wrong password here, if I type something like this gibberish, and now if I click on login, you can see a proper message here that is invalid email or password, try again. Okay, and one more thing, that if I directly go to the /dashboard, you can see that I can go that. Okay, so for that I have to write some code that will don't allow to go to /dashboard, only login user can go that. So now first of all, let's basically handle this logout button. Okay, so it is very simple to handle. I simply go to my Visual Studio, and just in this users.js at the top in the get request, here I simply type here router.get /logout, and I just type here request and response, and in here I simply type here request.logout function that will help us to log out from that application. Simple as that. And just after logging out, we have to display a message. So I simply type here request.flash, which is definitely a success message. I will simply type here you have been logged out like that, and res.redirect towards /login. Okay, so I simply save that, and now if I go to my dashboard, okay, so let's run. First of all, I simply save that, and now if I just go back and reload it, if I just click on login, I am logged into my dashboard. If I click on logout, right from here, you have been logged out successfully. Okay, so now if I go to /dashboard, I can still go to dashboard. As we know that we are already logged out from this application, we don't allow the user to access to this dashboard if they are not logged in. Okay, so for that we have to write a separate piece of code to handle it. So I simply go back and write a separate function here at the top. Here I just type here checks if user is authenticated. And I type here function is authenticated. Make sure that spelling is wrong, is authenticated. Okay, so is authenticated user that has request, response, and next. And in here, first of all, you have to type here if request dot is authenticated and is authenticated, then we have to return next. middleware. Otherwise, if the user is not authenticated, then we have to request dot flash a message that should be an error message that says that please log in first to access this page, like that, and then res dot redirect toward /login. Okay, so to use that, I simply scroll down to my dashboard. Here I have to pass a second parameter here that will simply says that is authenticated user, and simple as that. Now first of all, whenever we go to /dashboard, it first of all check that is user authenticated, and if it is authenticated, then we will definitely render it. Otherwise we are not allowed to do that. Okay, so I simply save that and go back to my here and reload that. You can see that please log in first to access this page. Okay, so simply log in, and now I can redirect like I want. If I go to directly to that, because our session is maintained right now, if I click on logout from here, our session has been expired. You can see that you have been logged out. And now if I go to /dashboard, you will see a message, please log in first to access this page. Okay, so one more thing that you have noticed here, that logout button also appears on the login page. We don't have to do that. We don't want to appear this logout on this login page, so I simply go back and I go to the header.ejs here. Also I have to display the username also. First of all, I go back here and I simply also type here res.locals.current user equals to request.user to pass the user globally. Okay, so we can access it globally. So now if I go back and simply I type the name of user here, I simply type here current user dot name. Okay, and also I simply type here an if statement that if current user, then you have to display this, otherwise you don't have to display these options. Okay, so I simply cut all this from here and paste it right here and click on the format document. Now these options will only be available when user is logged in. Okay, so if user exists, then we have to display that, otherwise we don't have to display that. Okay, so I simply type here my tags to handle that. So I simply copy it from here and paste it right here, and also the closing ones, like that. So now if I just save it everything and go back to my browser and reload that, when I click on login from here, you can see all these options here, my name and the logout button. When I click on logout, you can see that we don't have those buttons right here. Okay, so we have been logged out. So we have made our application working with login and logout, and sign up is also working here. Now we have to set up one more option here, which is the forgot password. Okay, so if the user forgot password, then we also have to write a piece of code, which is a big piece of code that we basically have to write in our next video, that will handle that if user forgot the password, then we have to send an email to that user, and after that, from that email, the user will be able to make it new password and can log in again. Okay, so we will do that in our next video.